Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I got another story that came in, and in this story, the classic take a break, as he put it in quotes. And a lot of times someone will use this instead of actually breaking up, like maybe we'll just take a break, or they'll put that on there. And a lot of times the person's thinking about breaking up, but they don't have the courage, or they don't want to completely let go. They kind of want to keep their options open. But what happens in the take a break phase most of the time is in a month, 2 months, or 3 months, it finally comes to a point where someone starts seeing someone else, or it just kind of eases into the breakup. And one client told me he felt like he got weaned off the relationship, and I thought that was kind of an interesting way to put it, that she weaned him off the relationship. She took a break. She had little things here and there, and that's fine. But I mean, really think about what the issues are. And when you're when you're in a breakup and someone tells you what's wrong and their reasons, a lot of times this is why you need to write out your story. Sometimes it's clear. It's like, okay, that was the problem, but you're not accepting it, or you don't think it's fair. And that's just your perception. That's how you feel. You feel it's unfair. And if that's the case, you have a right to feel like it's unfair, and you shouldn't be with people that you don't think treat you fairly. You're now broken up, and you can move on. So that's not what all this is about in this particular story, but the take a break thing often leads to a breakup, is what I mean. So if you got a breakup story, visit writemac.com and get it in. Let's get into this one. Hello, Mac. I came across your YouTube page and thought I should write you. I don't know how much experience you have with taking a break in a relationship. Well, I don't know how much experience is credible in your eyes, but I have over 300 stories that have been written to me on this channel alone. But what percentage of taking a break in a relationship? I don't know, 10%, 15%. But taking a break in a relationship is actually a segue to breaking up in most cases, okay? And you also wrote, or dating with a disability. I have had people that had a disability and ailments. There's a few people that have had fatal diseases that they're dealing with, and they go on the breakup. That's really tough. Before I start the conversation I had with my ex happened 90% over text. I only seen my ex one time from August 2017 to July 2018. Okay, so my question, if it was all over text, was there any video being done, like FaceTime, something like that? Because I think even if you're going to do it over the internet, or over text, at least you could see each other's face. And were you okay with this, would be my question. I mean, at what point did you feel like you should see each other more often than one time in that period of time? Okay, he wrote, I kept it 500 words, expect the questions. Any help me so much I feel confused about my feeling and where I should go next, especially seeing someone new. Well, whenever you break up, it's always difficult thinking about seeing someone new, because all you can do is think about your past relationship. I've been there more than once, and you got to go through that time, and it's natural, and you got to heal your wounds for a little bit, and that's okay. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna be okay. And this relationship wasn't a long relationship, so it's gonna take you less time to get through it. It's probably not what you want to hear right now, but you're gonna be able to get through it. You're gonna handle yourself, and that's the message you need to give to yourself. Okay. The girl I was seeing wanted to take a break, as he put it in quotes, last for a year till she was done with school. So her issue was she wanted to concentrate on school. That's the clear part of it. She said she had too much work from school and wanted to focus on that and being on her own. Okay, she gave you a clear message right there. Being on her own in school, but it was more than that. She listed off numerous things, such as, so it's more than that. Me still living at home at 30. I have a very good reason why that I list below. Okay, I've had clients before without a good reason living at home in their late 20s and early 30s. And whatever your reason is, that's okay. It's your reason. There was one guy I know that it shocked me, because this guy really had it together. He had a good job. I think he was going to grad school, and he was just a independent individual. Lived at home with his parents in his late 20s. He had 50 grand in the bank. I mean, we're in a live coaching. I'm like, so you can't get your own place? You know, but he validated, he was saving money. He was happy to be at home. He was still in school. I mean, if that's okay, but it will become an issue to women over time. They will want you to have your own place, especially with intimacy issues. They don't want to be going past your parents, going into your room to hang out. It's just awkward when people get into their 20s and 30s, I think. But if you have your reason, you have your reason, and you said you'll get to that later. I want someone more manly. That just means masculine, right? Wanted me to take the upper hand in a relationship. She said, yeah, most women do, not all women do. So if that's not your personality, you're not this alpha male, you're not a controlling type, there is a woman that likes to be on the other end of that. She likes to be in charge. She likes to make the rules. And if you feel like, what I would ask you is if you feel like that's true or not true, right? Did you take that personal, or did you go, yeah, well, I'm just not like that? Well, then maybe she's not a match for you. Did the statement hurt you? I'm not sure what I want in my love life, quote unquote, is what she said. Well, she's unsure of things. She never brought this up, things before, out of the 8 months. Well, she came to a conclusion after 8 months. It's not like in month 4 she had all these things listed. This is what happens in relationship. Oh, this was never mentioned to me before, because what happens is it's like building a case. Okay, someone's building a case as a lawyer. They're putting together little pieces of information over time. So in the beginning, when you were living at home, or in the beginning, something like saying that you're not manly enough, that happened over time. That didn't happen in month 4 or month 5. It happened with little things that she perceived as not being masculine enough or manly, in your words. I'm not sure what I want in my love life. That could have just changed in this month. Things change in moments. A lot of times people, well, where was this before? I mean, you were together for 8 months. 90% of your relationship was on text. So, she probably wanted more interaction. She never brought this up, things before, out of the 8 months, saying things like, I'm living at home, 30, not manly enough, a lack of understanding of my conditions. Okay, if you feel like she has a lack of understanding in your conditions, then maybe you need to let her go, because a lot of times you're not going to convince someone to be more compassionate. It's either in their nature or it's not. And for her to be compassionate about your particular disability, right, or your ailments, she's had to deal with it in her own family or her own life. And if she hasn't, then she might not be as compassionate. On the other end, you don't want someone that's just with you taking pity also, right? I suffer from 2 illnesses, mid-processing disorder and ulcerative colitis. Okay, I'm not familiar with those at all. If they're really deep illnesses, my heart goes out to you, man. It really does. And if she's not understanding of those, then that's not going to serve you in your battle with these 2 things. So it's not actually going to help you to be stressed out of saying that she has a lack of understanding of my conditions, this clarity, maybe this is not the best person to spend your time talking to. Cultist medication costs 90 grand over the course of 7 years. Bam. You got a good reason to live at home. You need to save your money, and you're battling a condition. And hopefully, if you said that's over 7 years, then after 7 years, it takes care of it. I'm not sure, but I mean, from your point of view, it validates you living at home because it's an actual necessity to save money to pay for that. Okay. We finally talked about boundaries. Break boundaries. Okay. Sorry, my notes just went here on your story, but I'm recovering them. Okay, we finally talk about break boundaries 2 months into the break. So it's a bit, if you broke up and you have breakup boundaries, you're no longer in a relationship. You shouldn't rely on those. And even with the take a break idea, don't depend on you taking a break for a long time. At some point, it's going to take the turn into a breakup 90% of the time. 2 months into the break, 2 months into a break, you're no longer going to fall under break boundaries. You're officially broken up and free to go. The only time you're sometimes in a holding pattern if you were married and you have kids and you're kind of working on some things or you're talking about divorce, I think then you have more of a right to deal with that. She said we shouldn't close ourselves off to other people. She's being kind to you, she's being understanding, and she's telling you that she wants to see other people. And she's making it as an offer to you. Which I said, I don't agree to that statement because that said, to say that means that you're seeking a new relationship while keeping on the side. Well, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept it. The break lasted for about 4 months. I gave her 3 times to see me where she said she was going to, but at the last second decided not to. Okay, that's your clarity. 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out. You need to move on. If she made plans to see you 3 times, you were looking forward to it, you've only seen her once, and she didn't come to see you. Okay? You got to face the reality on that one and move forward and move on. Okay? I decided to break up with her in December because I felt in limbo and she didn't take the break seriously like me. Okay, that's your decision then. Every time I express my discontent with the break, you don't want to call it a breakup, I noticed. At some point, you need to call it a breakup, okay? She just said that I'm thinking too much into it. After we broke up, saying things like, hey, I miss you. Then in May, she said, I'm sorry for how things went down for us. I read your past letters and I cried and felt bad and wish we dated when I wasn't in school because I was overwhelmed. I feel in like another year or 2 we would have worked out. So she's saying timing and circumstances affected the relationship. I just didn't want to do anything long distance for that long. Long distance relationships are already difficult and have a high probability of this happening. So this is not just you, it's circumstance. I just think goals wise, we were at 2 different points. You have to accept that. This made me feel she didn't care about the relationship at all, adding another year. Well, that's your point of view, but you could paint this another picture if you want to reframe the story and say she did care enough to make that statement and tell you how she felt. She did care enough to be honest with you. She did care enough to, say that right now school kind of comes first, and that's a valid reason. My goals are to find someone that loves me no matter what, even with my health conditions, and is willing to work through the tough times when things come up. That's a great goal. What are you willing to offer them? That's what you need to ask. What kind of person do you need to be to attract a person like that? I understand you have these ailments and you were able to attract an individual, so you'll be able to do it again. I want to find someone that loves me no matter what, even with my health conditions, and is willing to work through tough times when things come up. Okay. So I told her, we have to make our own decisions that are best, and she said, I know. I just wish we could still hang and things. So she's trying to keep you on a friend's level is what she's saying. I still feel like she's still judging me and seeing me as just an asset, like a car or toy. Don't look at it that way. That's not going to serve you in the future. I still feel like she's still judging me. You're broken up. You need to move on from this. And her not seeing you 3 times out of 3 times, that was a big sign to me. It hurt you. It made you feel bad. And that's not something for you to deal with when you're battling a serious illness like you are right now. I still want to be with her so badly as a boyfriend. Just because you want to be with her so badly doesn't change the direction of how she feels. This happens a lot. This is not just you, okay? And at this point in your life too, with your disability or your ailment, what you want to call it, it hurts a little bit more because you feel like you'd be a person that would be more understanding, and you probably would, because you know what it's like to be going through what you're going through. She doesn't, okay? I'm not taking her side. I'm just giving you perspective. And that's what you send your story to me for, actually. I still want to be with her so badly as her boyfriend and girlfriend, not just being friends. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So even though it hurts so much when I see her pic on Facebook or Snapchat, I refuse to see her because it would upset me so much knowing I can kiss her or hold her hand like we used to. Okay, cut off all the social media. It's not serving you in any way, period. No negotiations on that. What should I do about my ex? I feel, okay, he has questions. What should I do about my ex? I believe you should move on from this. You should go into no contact. You should cut off all contact because she doesn't mind being your friend. She doesn't mind being in contact. But if you just want her so badly as your official girlfriend, it's just going to hurt you over and over again. And you're not going to leave room to possibly meet someone else. I feel like there's something left off between us and I miss her. Well, you miss her, but what you're saying that she conveyed to you doesn't tell me that she's looking to get back together anytime soon. I'm seeing someone new for about 2 months. Good for you, man. For 2 months, and while I'm happy to a point, I still wish I was with my ex even after what she did. Should I stay with my new one even though I have these feelings for the ex? You've only been with this girl for 2 months. Give yourself time to develop feelings. Give this one a shot because the other one's failed. It's broken. It was broken for a long time. Okay? The only way you can give this new relationship your attention and a shot is to give it your full attention. And it's really not fair to this woman that you're talking to for the last 2 months to be considering revisiting an ex like this, okay? And even the way you say it, what she did, even after what she did, you feel like she did something to you. And I don't think she did anything vindictive or hurtful. I think she was honest and you didn't like what she said. And that's okay that you didn't like it, but you can't carry it or else you're not going to be able to go into the next relationship. So I would absolutely put more time and effort into this relationship that it's been 2 months and see where it goes. Should I do friendship like she wants? No, because that's not what you want. You want her as your girlfriend. It would be misleading, deceiving, and it would only hurt you when she continued to act like your friend. I'm going to do a video on this. I've done them before, but the friend zone things comes up a lot. Since I refuse to see her, what should I do if she says she wants to try again when she's done with school? Should I take her back if I'm single? When you come to that bridge, worry about it then. You're considering a situation that's, when she gets done with school, that would be a bonus for you. You'd be in the driver's seat. Don't worry about it. It's since I refuse to see her, what should I do if she says she wants to try again when she's done with school, and should I take her back if I'm single? That's something to visit when the time comes. Send me a note then, but I mean, it's not happening anytime soon. I would focus on this girl that you're seeing for 2 months, and that's the fair thing to do with her. What should I do with my feeling I care for the new girl, but I still love my ex and miss her so much? It's not, what you're doing is not fair to the new girl, okay? You're either in or you're out. You give this one a chance, because right now, I'll be honest with you, I don't see much of a chance moving forward if you saw a girl one time in 8 months, okay, just being honest, and 3 times she flaked on meeting you. That's disappointing. That's clarity. Put that in your pocket, okay? Focus on this one. If this one's not enough, fine. What happens is, the reason why you're focused on this ex is because you had a longer relationship, you had a longer tie, and you feel like you have something to prove with her. I thought my ex was the one I was going to marry down the road. Here's another thing. The one, soulmates, you know what? I just don't buy it. There's too many women in the world, there's too many humans, that you think that there was one person in the whole world that was meant for you. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. My grandmother was married 4 times. Not a bad person. All different relationships, had 3 husbands die. And each relationship she was in, the first relationship that was, I think, 20 years and she had 3 kids and had my mom, was probably the worst, right? And without getting into detail about that, I'm just saying that Yeah, you think that with the first person you really love, and then you come to realize, and I went through it when I had my first love, when we broke up, my first serious relationship where we were really deep, and you think you're never gonna meet another person like that. You're capable of meeting another person equal or higher value, but I wouldn't even use the word value. I'm sorry for using that word. What I would use is a fit. And what happens is in life, there's different timing, timing parts. That's not even proper English, but there's different periods in your life. It's like chapters in a book, and the right timing for the right fit and the right partner, that's when it happens. And right now, this is not the right fit for you, your ex. She has other things that are more important to her, and she stated that to you, and she was honest about that. Now, appreciate her honesty and accept it, and accept the fact that you got a shot with building something with someone else. And if that doesn't work out, you still can meet another person. The fact that you were wrong, that you thought you were going to marry someone down the road, you're not the first person to have that happen. Okay? You're going to get through this. You're going to be okay, and put some time in this new relationship. Thank you again for reading my story. I look forward from hearing from you. Any advice would help. If you have any other questions about the situation, let me know. No, I like the way you put this. You put some clear questions, and you got to the point. I really appreciate the way you wrote this. So please visit writemac.com if you have a breakup story to tell. Otherwise, thank you for supporting the channel.